Have you ever had such a thing happen? Let's say you've been reading about a specific subject a lot. Let's say I've been reading about Mothman, right? And then all of a sudden you're watching TV, Mothman comes up. People you haven't seen in a while start talking about Mothman. Like all this stuff connects together strangely. And you're like, why is this happening? So the book we're going to talk about today, What Kind of Mother by Clay McCleod Chapman, is a book about a missing child. It's weird because recently I have several books in queue about missing children, and it wasn't intentional, it just kind of strangely happened that way. So I was just curious if other people have weird coincidences that have happened like that. So this book, it's a story of this woman, Maddie. She is a palm reader and she's just trying to scrape a living together. She has a teenage daughter, Kendra, and they returned to her hometown of Brandywine, Virginia. She came back because the father, who originally wanted absolutely nothing to do with his kid, Kendra, all of a sudden decides he wants her in his life because he found God and he has a new family and da-da-da-da. So Maddie comes back, for her kid to have a relationship with her dad. And so that's kind of a stress on her and a struggle because she kind of feels like she's losing her daughter. And then when she comes back into town, she runs into an old flame, Henry McCabe. And Henry has had really horrible tragedy in his life. His son went missing when he was 8 months old. His wife committed suicide. This whole backstory and, people in town, the gossip and whatnot, all saying like either he killed the son or she did and all of that. So he's had this horrible tragedy. The townsfolk, don't help things and kind of make matters worse. She runs into him. She gives him a reading. Now give me your hand, and gives him a palm reading. And she gets this jolt and she sees something. And then, he kind of tells her a little bit about what happened, and he seems to really believe that his son, Skylar, is still alive out there somewhere. This is a story about the power of belief and what it can create. The good, the bad, and the beyond. That's beautifully dark and deeply disturbing, sad and emotional, kind of ebbs and flows as you venture deep into the pages. Will those waters close over your head? Maybe. So the father believes that his son is still out there somewhere and thinks since Maddie saw something that she might just be the person to help him find his kid again. In the way past, they dated for 3 months in high school. So they have a little bit of a past and there's some attraction there. So they got that going on. This starts down this weird road trying to find this guy's son. Maddie's kind of in disbelief and isn't really sure. And then she maybe suspects that Henry's not telling her the whole truth. And this book just goes it goes off the rails and it goes sideways and it's freaking crazy. I thought the dialogue in it was really fantastic. I feel like Clay just writes really good dialogue. It flows really well. It's seamless. As you get further into it and deeper in, you get into the whole backstory. You get to find out what actually happened to Skylar, what happened with Henry and his family and his wife and all this craziness and how it all comes together and what happens. Do they find Skylar? Is Skylar dead? What happens? What is the weird visions that Maddie is seeing? What the crap is going on in this? There's a big water element in it. There's a lot that has to do with fishing and different types of sea creatures like jellyfish and crabs and different fish and eels, weird stuff of the sea. And that's all interwoven within it. It's weird and creepy. It was really well written. I enjoyed it quite a bit. It immediately grabbed my attention. And if you like really weird horror that is kind of out there, I love weird out there horror that you're just like, what is happening? Oh, good Lord. What is this? Then What Kind of Mother by Clay McCleod Chapman may just be for you. And if you are a fan of water-based horror, the next video coming up will be a water-based horror. So stick around, check it out. And if you had fun hanging out today, hit that subscribe button, come back, see me again, and we'll talk about more bookish things and weird stuff.